Greetings from the Denver airport. Today is Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. In today's video, I'm going to do an update on where you can possibly sleep in the Denver airport if you have a layover overnight. I actually did a couple of videos on this back in 2022. You can see one of them on YouTube was this thumbnail here, Denver Airport Live, where to sleep overnight. That was in February 2022. And when I first started having long layovers overnight in Denver, the particular spot that I pointed out in that video, I was able to utilize it like probably 3 or 4 different times even before I did that video. But ever since then, every time I go by there, it seems like it's all like jam-packed and crowded, so I may have spoiled the secret, so to speak. I think a lot of people saw the video and utilized it, but there's some new spots that I discovered that are actually pretty nice to utilize as well to sleep. First, let's showcase how to get to that original spot. If you are wanting to lay over and sleep overnight or take some rest, ideally you want to go to Concourse A. So right now I'm in Concourse A. There's also B and C concourses. If you get to Concourse A, sort of head to the very middle, and that's where the central dining locations are located, as well as the train and this big artwork that includes like the future transportation method. It has like a railroad track going upward. So this is what I'm talking about. This is sort of like the middle of it. And you know, the McDonald's over there, Panda Express. Can't remember if there's a Chick-fil-A over there, if that's in a different concourse. But there's also a Pizza Hut. But here's that big artwork in the middle. The train is down there. So that's the train. If you wanted to go to the main part of the airport where you would check in, you would head that way. If you want to go to the B and C gates, you would go that way. So if you're coming from B or C, you'd be taking a train going this way, get off at Concourse A, and then come up the escalators up here. If you're coming to Concourse A from TSA, you'd be getting off the train where these people are doing, and same thing, just come up here. Once you're over here, again, McDonald's is over that way. You just find the escalator that takes you up to the very next floor. So on that side, there's escalators that go up. Right behind me, there's also a set of escalators that take you up to the next floor. Now, when I get up here, I'll probably be a bit quiet in my narration. But one thing I also wanted to point out since my last video is they installed a lot of random seats on this floor as well, which some people utilize to sleep in too. So, for example, all these chairs here weren't here in the past. Some people will camp out there. The main sleeping area that I'm referring to is in that corner over there if you take that escalator that I just did. See how there's like seats here, seats here. They added seats over there there's seats. Over there in that corner there's a bunch of seats. So a lot of people do utilize those. This is a hair earlier than when I've been getting here on my last few layovers because it's only 10:34 p.m. Mountain Time. Usually I've been getting here around midnight if I lay over. Yeah. But you can see there may be like one spot opened. Otherwise, there's actually like 2 or 3 spots open. Otherwise it's still pretty utilized. So that's the old spot that I covered in that 2022 video. One of the changes, as I described, are all the chairs up here. These ones, you know, you're not necessarily going to lay down in, but what I've seen people do is some people actually lay on the floor in these areas. But let me get to the spot over that way. Some people will lie down, like fashion two sets of chairs together and try to lay down on them. And by the way, this isn't the final thing that I'm showing, so stay tuned to this video, because the other sleeping options, which I think are pretty nice and I just recently discovered, are in a different area of the airport in Concourse A. So here's an example, like some people I've seen lay in between those chairs. This one set of chairs here happens to be missing the armrest. So last time I was here, I saw someone lie down on that. Again, more chairs that are sort of near each other so that you can put the chairs together and lie down. So I just did a 360-degree loop on the upper level here, because I started off, once I got up here, at these escalators. Now I'm going to take the escalators down the level, and this is where we'll start showing you how to get to the other sleeping option. So put yourself back in the middle of this airport. What you want to do is look for the signage that's talking about gates A1 through gates A39. Start heading that direction. So we're passing by a Novo Coffee. You see up here it says gate A38. And this is like the old portion of the Denver airport. Some of these first few gates, it'll look like the rest of the Denver airport if you were heading the opposite direction with all the other gates. I think it goes like to gate A99 even. So these areas just have all the traditional chairs that you would see upstairs. Some people choose to like lie on the floor here, but you can't really lie down and sleep in those chairs. And then gates A1 through A32. This is sort of where all those new options begin. I think this was either a renovation or an addition back in late 2022, and I kind of knew this had happened, but I never really had a need to walk down this way. And it's interesting, the past two times I've been down here, there really aren't any like late night flights that are scheduled out of this area, so it's not like you're disturbing passengers. But here's an example. See how there's like couches? You know, you can crouch up on that. You can see a person sleeping over there. So these are the new, what I consider to be like the new sleeping options. And granted, it doesn't have a curved nature to it, or a pillow area, but I laid on one earlier and it felt pretty comfortable. See more people utilizing it. I think as you get a little bit further down, there's more options. And it's not just on this side, it's on, both sides. There's areas over there where no one's even on them at all. You got areas down here to plug in. I'm going to keep walking further down. When I scouted this out earlier, I only went as far as this area, but I'm going to anticipate that the rest of the way down is pretty similar. Another interesting thing is when I first saw that area back in 2022 on the upper level, it was surprising because I never really saw any airports that featured a dedicated sleeping area. Now, granted, this isn't a dedicated sleeping area, but on the same note, I also haven't seen airports that feature like couches like this. So that's unique in itself. But yeah, look at this. Like, no one's even around the area. So let's say you wanted to relax on here. I'm not sure if there's even flights that are coming in the morning. But you could set your bag here, lie down. You could stick your feet up, but if someone else is going to be laying perhaps on the next one, you may want to be a little bit considerate that your feet aren't near their head. So a little bend to the knees. It's probably a little less convenient to be facing this way because you may roll over and fall off. You want your back to be up against it. So if you're a traditional side sleeper and you're used to bending your legs, this would be a great option because this is very cushioned, very soft. You can see, again, I'm used to sleeping in a ball, so for me it works, and I am close to 5'11", if that gives you a good height example. If you're 6 foot something, or if you I'm only 170 pounds, so if you're somewhere 200 plus pounds, I don't know how convenient that would be to, you know what I mean, fit on that area. You may not be able to get comfortable enough because you're not really able to lie on your back and relax so much like that. I guess you could lie on your back, but depends. So we'll keep on walking. Again, you can see more options. I'm surprised there's really no one down here. Remember, I'm only showing this side. This entire side over here, same thing, as you got more of the seats. Now, one thing I should point out is I haven't actually slept in this area overnight, so I have no clue if anybody will wake you up and be like, oh, try not to sleep here, but I highly doubt that would happen. I was actually here on a layover a couple nights ago, and I came by at 3 a.m. in the morning. Again, I didn't go this far. It was only toward those first few ones, and there were plenty of people sound asleep. A lot more than there were now, but there were still plenty of open spots. But anyway, they weren't being disturbed, so I assume it's something that you could do without issue. So now we're getting to the point where it's saying gates A 14 through 18. Oh, look at this. Again, I have not been down here, so what you're seeing is what I'm seeing for the first time. So earlier I was talking about people who are maybe a little bit bigger or longer in length. You could probably find a spot on this type of chair, not necessarily these ones, although I guess you could like crouch into a ball and rest there. See how like some people are doing it there. You even got a area here, although those don't look as wide perhaps. And then what do we have out here? I want to make sure I'm not like exiting the airport. Oh, I see. It's like an outdoor area. That's interesting. I've never seen a airport feature an outdoor area. There's some lawn furniture out there too, where if it's warm enough you could sleep out there. But anyway, that will wrap up this video. Hopefully I showed that even if that upper portion is filled up, you've got a lot more options to be able to camp out and rest. God, I can't believe how many spots there are. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you next time. So, quick update. My eyes may look a little tired. It's around 6 a.m. right now. I slept for about 6 hours in that spot. Just giving some feedback about how it felt. It was pretty comfortable. I mean, halfway through the night, my hip, you could start feeling my hip when I was laying on one side, getting a bit sore. So I tried to like rotate to the other side for an hour, and then for like the last hour, then I slept flat on my, or rested flat on my back. Overnight, it seemed like there were less intercom announcements, and the music was more subtle than it is in the middle of the airport from past experience. So overall, it was nice, and it's not as crowded. Like there's still not that many people over here. You know what I mean? Like look how empty. So also it could have slept in one of those couches that are over here and been pretty undisturbed.